Good evening and welcome to this week's edition of Dateline SAU, where you can catch all the latest news and sports from St. Ambrose University. I'm Sarah Clifton.
And I'm Jen Arnold. A race honoring the memory of a St. Ambrose student had St. Ambrose University and community members alike showing support and getting into the giving spirit. Dateline SAU's Annie Smith has more.
Drexler and Ann Drexler, let's give them a round of applause as well.
Dash for Drex is an annual Last Blast event. The 2.1 run/walk is held to honor Derek Drexler.
On your mark, get set, go! 2012 Dash for Drex is underway.
I'm new to St. Ambrose, and when I heard about this race and that the student had passed away 4 years ago, and they're continuing to remember him and raise money and just come out and support the memory and what he was here at the university.
Derek passed away in 2009. He was a junior majoring in accounting and finance. He was 21 years old.
I went to high school, grade school with Derek, so it's good to see people come out and support the cause for the scholarship fund and kind of get everybody together as a way to remember.
It's really a great opportunity to honor Derek. That's number one what we want to do. And I know Ann and Dave, his parents, are really thrilled with being able to do it, and they love coming down. We love to have them, so it's really great in that respect.
Rory! 15 minutes, Rory.
All proceeds of the race and the brunch will go to a scholarship in Derek's honor. Annie Smith, Dateline SAU.
A unique event was held on campus this week. Its aim was to stop violence against women, and only the men could participate.
It was out with the loafers and tennis shoes and in with the high heels Wednesday, May 2nd. The men of the SAU campus were asked to join together in support of Walk a Mile in Her Shoes. The event is part of International Men's March to Stop Rape, Sexual Assault, and Gender Violence, mainly against women.
Well, there are 1 in 4 women who are victims of violence, and I think it's something like 1 in 8 men. So it does affect, you're thinking you're sitting in a classroom of 25 students, probably 4 or 5 of them, or maybe 4 or 6 of them have been victims of violence. So it's something that really affects a lot of our friends, our families. So it's a big percentage of the population, and I think once people start to realize that, they realize how important it is to speak up and stop the violence.
The SAU community spoke up by putting men in women's shoes. They had their choice of heels, flats, and sandals. The organizers used shoes from the previous walk, most of which were donated, and they also had to purchase some in larger sizes. This year, a new option was given to the men marching. Flowers could be clipped onto their shoes if they could not find a pair to pit into. Once they found their shoes, they were off on a 1-mile walk around the St. Ambrose campus.
I think it's a fun way to put a spin on how guys can help out with the event, because mostly when we're talking about sexual assault or domestic violence, it's mostly a women-centered thing, and it's a cool event to help get the guys involved so the guys are walking for the women in their lives. So I think it's a really different approach to maybe an overly lectured topic.
Although a serious subject, the men involved still had fun.
I actually had some nice glittery silver heels on. I actually wore them last year as well. They seemed a lot more comfortable this year though.
My calves were cramping up in like the first block.
Over 40 people participated in the 2 walks. As they crossed the finish line, Band-Aids and treats greeted the walkers. With the second annual walk a success, there's already a third in the works for 2013.
After the race, a drawing was held for a $50 gift card, one for the women volunteers and one for the male participants.
Students, faculty, and staff were introduced to the latest edition of the St. Ambrose Creative Journal, Kirkus. The works were presented as part of a reading and art show held in the old Ambrose Hall boardroom. Carl Herzig, a professor of English at SAU, began Kirkus 21 years ago.
It just seems like a great thing for a school like this to have. We've got a lot of creative people, a lot of artists, a lot of writers, and there wasn't any real outlet to publish their work and show it. And it's really helped a lot of people. Artists use it to apply for positions, to send to shows. One editor actually was offered a position in a local printer before she even graduated, based on her work with Kirkus.
The journal is published every year and contains poetry, fiction, and art. Anyone can submit work for next year's edition of the Kirkus. While written works have no limits, artworks are limited to 3 submissions. Anyone is also welcome help as an editor.
With a department full of inventive and resourceful students, the St. Ambrose University Engineering Department was able to create many useful projects over the course of the school year. On Wednesday afternoon, many of those projects were on display in the Rogalski Center. Some of these creations were more than just an opportunity to earn a grade, however. Select students made items to benefit the local senior center, and they were grateful for the opportunity.
It means a lot because, I like to show people what we've done here. I feel like we've come a long ways working on this project, and I'm excited to see it go. I'm excited to get all the parts finished, and I want to take it over to the old folks home and let them use it to see how they like it. And I hope it's really successful, and I hope they enjoy it.
The event was part of St. Ambrose University's Spotlight on Engineering initiative to respond to the increased demand for graduates from this field.
With final exams just around the corner, it is that time to figure out what to do with your textbooks from the past semester and how to obtain extra money before summer. The SAU bookstore is going to be buying used textbooks from May 7th to May 11th. If you have any questions, feel free to contact the SAU bookstore at 563-333-6336.
St. Ambrose University has added a new communications class to its curriculum. Com 360 is a course delivering stories and ads in social media world. It is taught and led by anchor Jason Fechner of WQAD's News Channel 8.
At our television station, and just kind of the move from people from traditional media and television to more social media and obviously online stuff. So this class is a little bit of a bridge between that.
It's just a good time. It's a good experience to get the PR kids involved with promoting things. Also, it's a great opportunity for the radio, television, broadcasting majors to put together a profile piece. They're great feature stories.
The 7 students in the class produced videos on local businesses and then posted them on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. You can see the group's work on their Facebook page at Q321 Videos.
It was another busy week for St. Ambrose University sports as the spring sports season starts to wrap up.
The SAU softball team looked to make a mark on their conference tournament.
While the SAU baseball team needed just 2 wins to claim sole possession of the top spot for the regular season conference title.
Tim McNicholas will be here with all the highlights and more coming up in sports after this short break.
Stay tuned.
How's your day going?
It's been pretty good, Ethan. How about yours?
Not so good. Lately, I've been feeling like I don't have what it takes to become a journalist.
Hey, I have just a solution for you.
Really? What do you mean?
Come on, let me show you. The Career Center helped me get a great internship.
An offer like that seems to be the answer to my problem. Thanks, Joe.
No problem. Stop by the Career Center today.
I absolutely fell in love with the atmosphere and with the people, and there was just this attitude of really wanting to help the students learn, and all of the hands-on things that are available here, I could get involved right away. It wasn't something that I was going to have to wait to be involved in. I can tell people that I have all of these experiences and that I can do anything that they have for me to do. They were all just great experiences for me, things that I'll remember for the rest of my life.
St. Ambrose Fighting V baseball team entered last weekend facing 3 games versus the Mount Mercy Mustangs. Win just 1 game and the Bees tie for the conference title. Win 2 games and the Bees claim the title outright. But Mount Mercy sweeps the doubleheader from the Bees as the Mustang pitchers limit St. Ambrose to just 4 hits in the 2 games. That pair of losses then set up a must-win situation for the Bees as the 2 teams met up for the 3rd game of the series. A single game on Saturday at Modern Woodman Park. Annie Smith reports.
It was a cold and windy day, and the Bees faced a 5-run deficit early. But Jonathan Golden starts the comeback with this double in the gap, and the Bees are on the board. A couple of batters later, Alex Bailing drives Golden home, and the Mustang lead is cut to 3. Let's head to the bottom of the 6th. It's Sam Parsons with the sharp single to center, and Matt Rossenberger scores. Then, it's Golden coming up big again, this time with a run-scoring double down the line. Parsons comes all the way from around first, pulling the Bees to within a run. Then, in the bottom of the 8th, Tyler Gillis crushes this pitch over the right field fence, and the Bees are pumped. The score is tied 8-8, and the game eventually goes to extra innings. But the Mustangs weren't finished. Mount Mercy scores a go-ahead run on the top of the 10th inning on a sacrifice fly, and the visitors start to celebrate. So with their backs to the wall, the Bees go to work in the bottom half of the 10th. After a leadoff walk to Connor Kretz, Rosenberger gets his 6th hit of the game with this double to the right field wall. And the Bees have the winning run at second with no one out. Then Scott Blanchett chops this one through the drawn-in infield, and we are tied up 9-9. With Rosenberger representing the winning run, it was up to Tom Pryor to deliver, and he does. This fly ball to short center field is enough as Rosenberger scampers home with the winning run, and the Bees clinch a tie for the conference title. Annie Smith, Dateline SAU.
Tom Szymanski pitched 6 2/3 innings in relief, allowing just one earned run to get the win. And Matt Rosenberg had a 6-for-6 day with 4 runs scored. With the win, the Bees secured a #1 seed for the conference tourney and gained St. Ambrose its first conference championship since 2008. Following a first-round bye, the Bees opened up the conference tournament with a disappointing 7-6 loss to Iowa Wesleyan. The Tigers scored 2 runs in the bottom of the 9th inning to secure the win, dropping St. Ambrose into the elimination side of the bracket. The Mount Mercy Mustangs then avenged their earlier loss to the Bees with a 6-1 win, ending the season for St. Ambrose. The SAU baseball team ends the year with a 24-26 record, co-regular season champions in the Midwest Collegiate Conference. Meanwhile, the Queen Bees softball team broke even at their conference tournament, played in Oskaloosa, Iowa. SAU kicked off the tourney by beating Clark 5-2, but they were shut out by William Penn in the second game, dropping themselves into the losers bracket in the tournament. The ladies bounced back to beat Clark 4-0 in Game 3. That set up a rematch with William Penn. The game remained scoreless until the Statesmen pushed the winning run across in the 10th inning, eliminating the Queen Bees from the tournament and ending their season. St. Ambrose finished the year just above 500 with a 29-27 record. SAU men's track star Evan Frazier recently earned Midwest Collegiate Conference Athlete of the Week honors. Frazier won the 100 and 200 meter relays at the Loras College Open. He also carried the Bees to a 7th place finish at the Drake Relays in Des Moines. 7th is SAU's best finish in that event in almost 50 years. And that's all for sports. I'm Tim McNicholas.
Thanks, Tim. And that will do it for this week's edition of Dateline SAU.
Be sure to join us every Monday and Friday evening at 6:30 for the latest news and sports from St. Ambrose University.
SAU commencement ceremonies are scheduled for Saturday, May 12th at the I. Weiler Center in Moline, following a 9 a.m. baccalaureate mass in the Galvin Fine Arts Center.
It will be a big day for the graduates and their families, so we asked graduating seniors about their plans after graduation.
We'll leave you tonight with their responses. Thank you for watching.
Good night.
Advertising agency somewhere in the Midwest and hope to find a job in their creative department.
After graduation, I'm going to move back home to where I'm from, the northwest suburbs of Chicago, hopefully try and do some networking, work a little bit, but travel and hopefully find a job in my industry.
After I graduate, I plan on working at the Better Business Bureau as the Assistant Manager of Investigations in Chicago.
After graduation, I plan on attending the University of Alabama to play football. And after I graduate from the University of Alabama, I'm going to join the Army and serve my country. And after I get done with the Army, I'm going to run across the country. And after that, I'm going to open my own shrimping business. But what I really want to do is to settle down with a girl named Jenny.